The term brain food is more than a myth, and with matrics cramming in as much as possible before their final school exams, few are aware how the food they eat actually affects the process. In fact, certain foods can actually help you enhance your studying process while others hamper it. Now, our local nutritionist Andrea du Plessis says that we should actually think of our bodies and our brains especially as factories. Now, this is a very interesting way of looking at it, Andrea. Why should we look at our brains as factories?
Well, if you look at how the brain functions, it needs certain nutrients to function properly to be able to give the output that you need. So the information that you store, that if there's an exam, that you actually can retrieve that information.
Indeed.
So it is a functional organ that needs to be maintained.
So let's talk about all the things that support this functional organ that is so crucial at this time of the year.
Well, from a dietary perspective, I'd like to start with water. It's a known fact that if you don't drink enough water and become dehydrated, that one of the first symptoms is a lack of concentration. Now, many of us are often dehydrated without knowing it, and that will definitely interfere with the study process, and also if you're writing an exam. So drinking lots of water is really important.
Okay, so instead of, let's say, having caffeine-filled soft drinks, you might want to have water.
Please do mention that, because we often drink sort of soft drinks and coffee and tea, which we think about as liquid, but it's also containing dehydrating factors.
Yes.
So water would be the best option.
Okay. How about exercise? Does that play a role? Because I think when we study, especially when you're in your matric exams, these are the most serious exams of your life. You think you need to dedicate 8 hours a day to studying, don't go outside, don't look at anyone. Maybe going outside, getting a bit of fresh air could help?
I think that the first thing is you have to have a really well worked out study schedule, and then plan your breaks in between, because it's impossible for any person to sit and concentrate fully for 3 hours. So rather break those hours up and have a 15-minute exercise session in between. And why I say exercise is not only does it break your concentration and the focus there completely, that your brain can rest, but also the exercise increases your blood flow to the brain. And that definitely helps with concentration. I mean, they've done studies to show how regular exercise can help increase your learning ability. And improve brain growth even in older people.
Okay, so a good old 10-minute jog now and then, just to kind of let you take a break from the books, would be good for you.
Yes.
How about the good old burning the midnight oil? So studying all night long until 5 o'clock the next morning, getting 2 hours of sleep, and then going quickly to the exam. Is that advisable?
Look, it's not advisable, but sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures. If you haven't read through your notes or studied, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you're writing at 8 o'clock, you probably need to go through your work. But so planning, they say failing to plan is planning to fail.
Ah, wow, wise words indeed.
But if you do need those long hours, there are some tips to follow also with your diet to make sure that you can concentrate.
Is there an optimal amount of hours that allows your brain to go from sleep to, reset so that you recover the next morning? Now, for instance, is the 8-hour rule still applicable now?
It's a difficult one because it differs from one person to the other. But they say that you should try to have at least 5 hours of solid sleep. So it's not recommended to only sleep 5 hours. But if you can get that in, and with your lifestyle,
Thank goodness we don't write exams on espresso.
If it's anything less than that, the brain doesn't work so well. But one should aim for 8 hours on average.
What shouldn't scholars and students out there eat?
Which ones do we normally snack on when we're studying?
Well, next to my desk I usually had a bowl full of sweets, chips, as I said, caffeine-filled fizzy drinks, and those would be you'd be there and there. This would be the operation happening there.
No, those are all the ones that can actually hamper concentration and memory. Because if you look at the salt in the chips, the sugar in the sweets, and also the caffeine in the cool drink and the sugar, all of those are factors that dehydrate the body. Your brain needs energy while you're studying, but that's not the right type of energy.
Okay,
and also, it doesn't help with your hydration.
So you want to stay away from the sugars, the salt, and the high fat snacks.
That's right.
Stay away from those. But what should we be consuming then?
Well, I have a few tips to share there. The first thing is one can look, instead of the chips, you can look at the sort of healthy alternatives like rice cakes. You have flavoured mini rice cakes, etc. Instead of the sweets, definitely fresh fruit, because they also taste sweet. You can snack on strawberries, for example, and other berries or small pieces of fruit. And obviously they also contain nutrients that nourish your brain.
Yes, okay.
And typically their energy release is a more sustained energy release.
The low GI factor, right? And you were saying also earlier while we were talking about this that making sure that you get a nice and good breakfast before going to write your exam in the morning is also very important.
That is critical. I mean, if you write a 3-hour paper and your brain needs glucose to concentrate, and if you're hungry, obviously it's difficult for your body to get the glucose. So a low GI breakfast, such as the Vital Muesli, is really a fantastic option, and with yogurt and fruit.
While you're writing your exam, is there a bit of a mixture that you can make, perhaps a green tea mixture, or maybe even a rooibos iced tea that you could have with you during your exam, just to keep you hydrated and also kind of just to refresh you?
Well, definitely. I mean, something like water, as we said, is really important. Some people like myself don't like drinking water, so I love putting mint leaves in.
Yes.
And they've done a study showing how the smell of mint can also help sharpen your concentration. But green tea is a fantastic option. There's a little bit of caffeine in there, but not enough to dehydrate you.
Yes.
So you can make iced green tea or rooibos tea. I mean, those are 2 healthy options.
Lovely stuff.
Definitely to support the concentration and the hydration status.
Good stuff. Well, I hope that you took some time to put all of those notes and tips into some sort of a mind map, that you do remember it. But do study hard. Good luck with those exams. But of course, if you have any more questions, you are welcome to go onto Andrea's Facebook page, Andrea du Plessis Vital Expert on Facebook, and ask her all the questions you'd like.
The Vital Foundation takes action against women and child abuse. R1 from every Vital pack will be donated to organizations fighting abuse. Make a difference.